it's good first day of pads. I thought the defense had a really good sense of urgency today. Obviously a little bit heavier run, but there was a lot of good things. I thought, the physicality, but still being smart to protect each other was exactly what we were looking for. And so it was a step in the right direction. I thought, really defensively, I thought they did an excellent job today.
Any update on Matthew or Kyron negotiations?
No updates. Matthew will be week to week, and so it'll be the same for the rest of the week on that. And then as far as Kyron, again, had a lot of good dialogue with Matthew Sharon, and I talked to Drew and his brother the other day, and it's very healthy conversations, and I give him a ton of credit for the way that they've approached it. And so, but no new updates on that.
What's the biggest moment for you that you guys did something different today?
Well, I think what was good is that you're putting the pads on, you're starting to activate some more schemes, not exclusive to just some of the things that we're activating without pads on. And so I thought guys had a good bounce in their step. I thought like I mentioned, I think the defensive guys, I think Nate Lamman's leadership is showing. You really felt Jared Verse's presence today, but overall really pleased with the defense, and I thought there was just good effort all around. But you definitely felt the energy, the bounce in their step, and they came ready to go. Puna Ford, Kobe Turner, Fisk, I thought all those guys, BY, they did an excellent job today.
Sean, how do you...
Jake Laser said that he considers this team one of the more mentally strong teams in the league, especially because of what you guys had to go through last year. When it comes to the young guys and preparing for adversity, the ups and downs, how do you try to challenge your players?
I think you try, I think every year is a new year, there's so many different pieces, but I do think that, some of the examples and experiences that a lot of these guys that are on this team have had can shape you. And so I think you try to cultivate and create atmosphere and environment where we're creating good stress to be able to be more mentally resilient. I think the more that you put yourself in those stressful situations, the better equipped you are to be able to handle it and stay in some of those uncomfortable moments and then do the next right thing. And so that's something that's going to be important. We're in the process of being able to shape that out. I appreciate Jay's opinion on that, and we're continuing to strive to do that every single day. But I love this group. I really love, the people. It's always about the people, and these players, these coaches are all made of the right stuff, and how we come together and handle the inevitable storms is going to be the separator for us.
Coach, how are you seeing the synergy coming together, especially with the younger players on the squad, to be able to enforce what you guys go through in the film room and you guys practice to get out here on the field?
I think the best thing about it, Nick, is that our veteran leaders model the way. And seeing is better than anything that we could say. You try to be able to set an expectation and understanding of what is, what are we looking for day in and day out, but how accountable are we? And that's coaches, players alike. How do we continue to stack blocks and understand that, let's just be where our feet are planted and continue to move forward. And I've been really pleased with the overall just leadership, especially with a lot of these guys that have accumulated experience.
When you're evaluating the offense and the defense in these settings, how do you determine what success looks like for each side of the ball, understanding factors like, testing your rules, or maybe guys trying to do different things from a pass rush standpoint, whatever it may be?
It's a great question. I think there's a beautiful torment as a head coach because I can decide whether I'm happy with whoever won the down or pissed off at whoever lost. So, but I think what we try to do is set up, those competitive situations. And, we have a familiarity with what we're trying to do tactically, and I think it is important to be able to test the rules. I think it's important to understand the etiquette that we're looking for to be able to push the envelope but not leave ourselves susceptible to injuries. Thought the guys towed the line in a good way today. But I think it's an everyday deal. It really just depends on what our focus and concentration was. First day in pads, we're always going to be a little bit more heavy run emphasis. I thought the defense did an excellent job of being able to handle that, and we'll continue to learn. But really every single day is an opportunity for us to learn. And I think when you go from period to period, there's different stressors that we're trying to evaluate, knowing where the hard down is, whether that's on offense or defense.
When you're looking at a receiver from your point of view too, what specific areas can you see the most improvement?
I don't know that there's any specific area as much as just continuing to improve your game. And that's not exclusive to receivers, Sarah. I think that's really just for any player. And when you've got conscientious guys like we do, when you've got guys that work hard, that enjoy their craft and understand what kind of work and what kind of rhythm and routine do I need to put in to be able to move myself forward, guys inevitably are going to get better. Those reps accumulate over time. And so I'm just looking to take steps in whatever that is, no different than Stu's question, whether that's if you're talking exclusively about a receiver, is that your route craft? Is that your ability to understand what your run responsibilities are, the approach angles that we want to be able to take? What coverages are we hunting up so you can understand the intent of some of these plays? And so I could go on, but it's really about intentionality and then just continuing to work your craft and be accountable and coachable.
It seemed like Hunter was getting a lot of opportunity, not just with the twos, but with some with the ones.
Sure.
What's kind of, is he going to have like a long runway for evaluation for you guys?
Yeah, I think, we had a lot of carries today, so Blake got some as well, but I thought you saw Jarquez do an excellent job. He's heavy, he's got a great body lean, and even though we're not truly tackling, you can feel that he is heavy through the hole. He's got a really good demeanor, man. He just kind of stare a hole through you. But he is, he's continuing to show improvement. I think Kyron's done a great job setting the tone. I've been really pleased with Blake Corum. And Jarquez definitely showed really well today. But I think you'll see that, Ron does a really good job of being able to mix those guys. I wouldn't look too far into it other than, we had a lot more runs than maybe what you guys have seen in the acclimation period, and that was kind of part of the intent with just the first day of pads.
A couple more, guys.
Yeah, you're talking about McCullough? Yeah, really same thing that you saw him do a great job with last year, Adam. And he's so valuable, he's so versatile, he can play safety, he can play the dime linebacker. You look at when we played Seattle last year, the first game, he was playing linebacker on early normal down and distances and taking on guards when they're easily climbing to him uncovered. And he's just one of those guys that, what's cool is I think about when you guys ask me about different players, these are people you don't bet against. They just show their value. They're grown men. They're mature beyond their years. That's exactly how Tank McCullough came in last year. And I think there's certain guys that just have a knack for being in the right place at the right time. He was doing that at Tennessee. It's not by mistake that he had the ball production that he did last year. He's made of the right stuff, and I love what he's about, and he's just continued to get better and to really show his value to this football team.
How do you expect the defensive line to be a catalyst for this team?
These guys are the real deal. We know that's going to be a really important factor for us. I thought they had an excellent day today. I think when you look at it, there's a lot of guys that have accumulated really good experience. I think Giff Smith, Joe Caniglio, and Drew Wilkins do a great job. And really as a front, we talk about how important it is for those guys to be able to set the tone for the second and third levels. It's about all 11 playing as one, but I've been really pleased with the growth, the improvement of those guys. Kobe Turner going into his third year has really just done a great job of naturally leading, and I think you can expect to see the same thing from Byron Young. Really excited about adding Tina Ford, and then with Jared and Byron and Braden being able to go into their second year, that's a big deal for us. So Tyler Davis is another guy that I think deserves to be mentioned because he has really shown why he's a total stud and a guy that's going to be a major factor.
And we get Carlos and then we get Greg.
Coach, on Saturday, you mentioned you emphasized making each other better.
Yep.
And I just want to know how you think they responded to that.
I think they always respond really well. I think the important thing for us as coaches is to provide clarity for what we're looking for. And, in a lot of these instances, they go against each other so often. We talk about towing the line, but not, leaving ourselves susceptible to unnecessary injuries. These guys have always responded. I love this group. I love working with these players and these coaches. And I'm very grateful for how receptive they are to those types of things. There's always going to be things that we're trying to be able to, push the envelope on and improve, but I was really pleased with how they responded before the 2-minute drill the other day.
Darian Kendrick blew out his knee a year ago last weekend. I heard you complimenting him a couple days ago. How has he responded to being away for a year, and what could he contribute this year?
Yeah, he's done a good job, Greg. I think when you look at it, it was, don't bring that up, man. It's a bad, but he has, he's handled himself really well, and he's got great instincts, great concept trigger. He's worked really hard. When you look at it and you see the amount of time and effort that goes into even getting yourself back, and even stronger than before. He can play the star position inside. He can play outside corner. He's really smart and understands, what's going on big picture. But he's one of those guys, his teammates love him. He just loves the game, and he's got a nice way about being able to go compete. And I've been really pleased with the steps that he's taken. Aubrey does such a great job with the back end, along with Coach Beek and Mike Harris. Okay, thanks.